Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well. My name's Fraser, and I want to share with you guys a story today that radically helped me improve my day-to-day existence. And what that insight that I gained, I want to share with you. And fundamentally, it's not allowing yourself to be held back by self-limiting beliefs. Let me tell you the story. So 3 to 4 months ago, I went to Bali for a workshop. I was with 8 other individuals there, and they were all entrepreneurs of some sort. And I am not at the same level as them at all. So I was the one person who was not like the others. And very quickly, I realized that everyone had a mindset that was very unique. And I think was a big contributor to their success. So for context, in the group, we had someone who owned an airline, for example, one person who was an AI company founder, a unicorn company. Another person worked in crypto, had a bunch of businesses that have done extremely well. We had a venture capitalist there who was doing fantastic in many different pursuits. An architect who has many different business pursuits. Some banking people. It was a mix of really high octane 1% of 1%er kind of group, and then there's me. So this was the environment I found myself in. Everyone was very humble, and you wouldn't know it walking in, but it was like the dream team, and everyone, as they started to explain what they were doing, I very quickly within about an hour realized that they all had a very unique mindset that was similar, and that I did not have this mindset. And that was that they essentially had no limiting beliefs really at all when it came to business or things they wanted to do at the sort of micro. So for example, one gentleman had raised a few $billions to make data centers in the Middle East, just like independently. And when he was just telling the story, it was as if he just said, hey, I'm going to go build a tree fort out back. And, I just went and did it. It was essentially the same kind of relaxed tone. And if you asked me to build a data center in the Middle East and how would I do that, I would say, well, I don't have the experience, I don't know what I'm doing. And this person also said the same thing, but did it anyways. And this is the key difference, right? You can kind of see it now, hopefully. Essentially, the person had the idea, and then they said, well, what are the barriers? And essentially, there were no barriers other than just to go do the work and figure it out as you go. And he just kind of figured it out as he went, raised billions of dollars, and now he's putting a shovel in the sand somewhere and doing the work, right? So, and every single person had this exact same mindset, just in different industries across different sectors. And I realized that I was the only one who did not have this. So when I would verbalize the things that I had done or wanted to do better, that's a better way to put it, I would say something like, well, I really in the next year want to do 1, 2, 3, but here are the issues in the way, right? And everyone else in the group, when they were doing like their sort of goal setting, they would just kind of say, oh, well, I want to, raise money for this, or I want to open this kind of business. And then everyone in the group, sans me or not me, but everyone else in the group would just say, oh, let's just start. Like, oh, you should call this person. Here's the phone. Like, call them right now. Like call them right now. Don't wait. Like, we're in the middle of the meeting. Just call. So that's the level of action that they would take. So if they had an idea and it kind of made sense, their intuition said that was a good decision to make, they would just action it without any hesitation, with the assumption that they could handle any problems as they went down the path. This is the same for example, the airline owner. He had never worked in that field ever before, had been a successful business owner in a different context, and then just decided to raise capital to start an airline because he wanted to solve a problem in that industry. And so he just started it and off he went. Now, of course, it took years to do that. But the point is that if someone said to me, Fraser, let's start an airline, even if I thought it was a good idea and it made sense, I would say, well, I've never, I've flown in a plane, but I don't know how it works and the logistics. You would probably, the average person would put up a bunch of barriers they're barriers in the sense that they're obstacles, but those barriers would prohibit you from actioning. And that's the key difference. So after this 4-day experience, I was a changed person. I stopped using language even to sort of deprogram myself out of this. I stopped using language like but, should, maybe, all those kind of words. I would just take those straight out. And that's actually very hard for me to do, but now I'm much better at it. And I start to just now use more direct language. I'm going to do this, like I'm starting today. It's yes or no. I do it or I don't. And this has made my life significantly better in the last few months when actioning this. So essentially, I'm inhabiting a mindset that's barrierless or as much as possible. And if there are problems to obstacles to go around, I just know that as I approach them, I'll find a solution, or I won't. But either way, my mindset allows me to action freely. The most interesting thing is that when I talk to people who don't have this mindset now, which I include myself still for hopefully not for long, that it's very interesting. I can already tell that the barriers aren't real. So for just as an example to finish here, one of my friends went to Eastern Europe, saw that there was a business that existed there that didn't exist in North America. And he thought, oh, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to take this business model. I'm going to copy paste it in North America, and that's great. And so when he told me about the idea over dinner, I thought, oh, this is actually a good idea. You should do it. Like why aren't you doing it right now? And then there's just a laundry list of reasons not to do it. Well, the economy is maybe not the best, or it's too good, or oh, maybe there's other competitors. I need to do research. I need to think about it. Like my dog's sick, or whatever the case may be. All of those are legitimate issues, but they're obstacles. They're not really barriers. They're just something to maneuver around. And at the end, I said, well, okay, all of those are fine. I think it's a good idea. Do you agree? Yeah. They're all manageable. And I said, well, do it. Like, quit your job right now. Like, just literally do it. It's a Tuesday, call and just move on it. And he was like, I got to think about it. So what do you think the chances are that that person will actually quit their job and action that business the way it needs to be actioned for it to be successful? The chances are really low. I'd say 1%. But if he was in Bali, the group, because I'm not powerful enough to do it, the group would have just said, quit your job and do it. Like, just go. There's no downside. Like, there's no barrier. Like, you're the barrier, So I'm trying to make myself not the barrier. And I'm hoping this is useful for you and maybe cued you to see where your barriers are. And I've found it's whenever I get close to something I want to do, I get that kind of resistance, that feeling of like, ooh, and that's where I need to lean into. So I'm essentially leaning into that feeling and just going wherever those barriers are. Those aren't real. They're thoughts in my mind. They're not necessarily physically real in the space, and to just kind of tippy-toe towards them. And what I've found is that on the other side of that, if I approach that kind of that fear of, I'm a bit nervous to do something, on the other side is relief. And then I'm just freely actioning. So this has made me more effective as a person and made my day a lot easier. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I hope it's useful and something to think about at least.